It's Tuesday, March 18th, 2014. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, it's a Gaming News Roundup.
Let's do this.
Now that we're back to mostly regularly scheduled shows. Even though right before PAX, I think I'm going to Paris for that week, so suddenly there won't be shows again, but then there'll be shows after that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, hopefully convention season, I mean, basically all of our...
It is now convention season.
Yes, but convention season is very front-loaded. Like, we have all these cons in March and April, and we basically have nothing until PAX time. Like PAX Prime time.
Kineticon?
Yeah, Kineticon's like one con in, what, July? That's a ways out.
August, July, something like that?
Yeah.
May is empty.
Yeah, May and most of June are pretty empty. It's surprising.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting watching how certain cons we've gone to have been migrating away from each other on the calendar every year.
Well, everyone like tries to dodge each other, and then they end up bumping into each other.
Yep, you bump into the other side. But Anime Boston, at least, I mean, I remember there was the time they overlapped with PAX, which was no good. And then there was the year where they were opposite weekends, which was no good. Well, no good for us. Basically, we have to either travel to Boston on alternating weekends or live in Boston for a week. Mm-hmm. Not cheap to live in Boston for a week. Well, yeah, we're back for now.
All right.
Guess we got some news.
You have any opening bits of any kind?
I don't know. This weekend, I did a bunch of cool stuff that's kind of secret. No skiing. Skiing season's almost over.
Almost over? It's still cold, though, somehow. So if you make fake snow, it shouldn't melt.
Actually,
On a
Hunter
mountain
Mountain
especially.
said that they're going to be open for 30 more days minimum
Yeah.
because they have so much snow.
It's cold.
What they do is they make big snow whales. They can kind of like flatten that snow out to keep extending extra snow, and it keeps snowing up there. So whatevs.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, soon we'll stop talking about skiing and start talking a lot about biking. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, what'd you do this weekend? I biked to Rockaway again. Oh, yeah, I biked to Beacon. Oh, yeah, biking. Bike.
Good
Couldn't
sport.
bike today.
Good.
Tried to bike today, but it rained. Oh, I biked anyway. Oh, bike. That's going to be Geek Nights, just bike nights.
Bike nights is good.
Bike nights. Change the show to bike nights.
Still-
Talk all about gear ratios.
Good luck finding a biking podcast besides ours.
Why fixies suck. Every episode is just complaining about fixies.
Burn them all.
Yeah.
So if you're not in a velodrome, you should die.
Though there is that crazy Kickstarter that I'm waiting for the first person to get arrested with this thing. But basically it's a little suitcase that you carry around and you stick it on the front of a city bike and it turns it into a friction drive electric bike. It's basically a car battery and a motor and a little wheel that'll drive the bike along for you.
There was a Kickstarter I saw today for a shelf, basically. It's one of those shelves that's basically a box that you stick on the wall.
Yeah.
Right? But you can basically hang your bike from it by the seat.
Oh.
Right? And you put your helmet in the box.
Oh, I can envision how that would work.
And then you can work on the bike while it's sort of hanging there by the seat.
That is the thing that I love living in New York.
But you know what? Guess how much this thing costs on Kickstarter?
All right, I'm not having seen it.
For basically a box that hangs on the wall.
I'm going to guess $1,400.
$150.
Oh, but whatever.
For a box.
That hangs on the wall and holds up a bike.
It's a box.
I paid more than that for like one chair for my kitchen.
It's a box.
Go to Crate and Barrel and look at how much their box shelf costs.
Who at IKEA? Look how much their box shelf costs.
I'll look into this thing. We'll see, though. I really, really miss having a garage. I would like to be able to have one of the full-on devices to hold my bike up and be able to spray toxic chemicals all over it without just being in my apartment.
Why are you spraying toxic chemicals in your bike? You don't,
Like degreasers.
You don't like the paint job?
Degreaser stuff, different kinds of lubricants and seals and whatever. I don't have to do it that often, but I have to do it occasionally. Skis actually are far worse. I got to use dangerous shit to like get all the old wax off, and then the waxes I use have like fluorine in them, so
Right.
not really supposed to use them indoors.
Well, we're doing a news roundup, so what are we going to talk about between now and things of the day?
The news that is not directly related to gaming, but is related to gaming in the sense that it's a gaming con. So PAX East is coming up real soon. We're doing one panel, possibly two panels, depends on how things shake down. PAX is going to be awesome, as it always is, but there's been some big changes announced with this PAX East. Changes that fundamentally alter the landscape of PAX.
Some changes are good. Some changes are not good.
Yep. Such that, in the old days, like we used to review every PAX, and then we didn't because nothing changed. But now PAX is worth talking about again because stuff changed. If we ever wanted to do a here is how you should enjoy PAX show, we actually have to change the advice. Because
Slightly.
2 pieces of our advice are now broken.
Yep.
So, change the first, which is actually pretty big, but not as related to gaming. Mike and Jerry, Gabe and Tycho have been sort of distancing themselves as persons from being central to PAX over time.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because they've openly stated they want PAX to outlive them and Penny Arcade. Because someday they will die.
Yep.
That will happen. And the goal is that somehow...
It could be tomorrow if they let Mike have that motorcycle.
So, hopefully PAX will outlive them. Hopefully PAX will outlive us and outlive everyone who goes to it today because I really like PAX. So, one of the mainstays of PAX is the Gabe and Tycho Q&A, which always happens right after the keynote.
The hustle. And there's 2 of these things.
We have always considered this one of the must-see events, but it's interesting.
If you care about Penny, like if you go to PAX and you don't actually care about Penny Arcade itself, you just care about gaming and you're going to it as a gaming convention and you're not a fan of Penny Arcade, then I guess you don't have to go to it.
But even then, in those early days, the Q&A was more for the stand-up comedy than any fandom of Gabe or Tycho.
Sure, maybe.
And it was also immediately after the keynote, so you might as well stick around for the beginning of it.
At
You're
least stick
already
around
there.
for the hustle.
So, over the years, people asked every possible question they could ask, and the questions got increasingly redundant or stupid.
And there were some traditions that you wanted to keep going, like
Knuckle
cracking, and swear wording and such, right? And I went up at the last PAX Prime, and I said, hey, we got all these traditions at the Q&A, but it's getting kind of samey. You want to mix it up.
So the audience...
And everyone booed me.
Dude, the audience wanted to kill you.
I don't know they wanted to kill me, but they were boos. And I'm like, all right, the PAX is spoken, whatevs, I'll sit down.
And look who was right.
And look who was right.
Look what happened.
They removed the Q&A. What they're doing now, Mike and Jerry will still make themselves available to people who want to
In fact, they're going to make themselves more available at the con.
Anyone who wants to see them or talk to them and cares about them can there's lots of time where you can meet them and sign with them and trade pins and give them money and all that stuff. Even more time of theirs is dedicated to that. But they are removing the Q&As. The only Q&A they will have is the Make-A-Strip, which sort of had Q&A integrated with it because Jerry doesn't have much to do while Mike is drawing.
And it makes it sort of a fun event. So now you've got like the background of him drawing and the questions.
But there's another change to this in that you cannot just walk up to the mic and ask a goddamn question, you weirdo who always asks weird questions and puts on a show. And
yes, Scott.
Right. All those people, sit your ass down. Instead, people are submitting questions on the internet. I think the time for doing so might even already be over, if not soon. And then they're going to manually handpick questions, put them in envelopes
now,
and open and read them.
Here's the cool thing. From what I gather, there will be normal envelopes and red envelopes. Mike and Jerry will not know what the questions are ahead of time, so someone else will just, weed out all the stupid ones. But otherwise, they'll just give them a list, and they can read whichever ones they want, and the red ones are supposedly the ones that might anger or frighten them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how they do that. We'll see how much of that is showmanship versus
I've never gone to Make-A-Strip, and you know what? I won't.
We tried to that one time, and then it got canceled.
So now I think that's an omen. I'm just not going to go to it.
Yeah. So it's interesting because for a long time, the culture of PAX, a big part of it was that sort of back and forth. The Q&A sort of merged into the sort of someone prompts them in some fashion and they respond in a funny fashion. Mm-hmm. But as time went on, when you're watching like an anime, you're watching a movie with friends, occasionally that dude in the back yells out that thing at that perfect moment that's just utterly hilarious. Mm-hmm. And it's great, and everyone laughs.
And then everyone tries to do it and fails.
Yep.
They try to recreate that moment, but they don't have the comedy skills or timing or coolness of that guy who did it the once. And that guy who did it the once, he's not doing it again because he recognizes he doesn't have the thing as funny as that at that exact time. That time is gone, come and gone. It is, and there's no reason. If you try to put too much work into making it happen, it will reek of effort.
Yep, he had his moment in the sun. He's done. Nerds always forget that MST3K, one was scripted, and 2 is way fucking harder than you all think it is.
Yeah, they would watch the thing like a zillion times, writing down jokes, figuring out which ones were funny at which moments, right?
Ave Maria.
Right.
So
Albert Biddy.
Permitti? That might be literally my favorite moment in all of MST3K. But basically, there was this sort of liminality between when the Q&As were mostly direct questions that got answered by them about them in Penny Arcade. And PAX East, the first few, really had that going on because a lot of these people had never seen them before, never been to a PAX. But then there was this sort of liminal period where the questions were mostly petered out, so people would ask redundant questions, but the occasional person would do something funny, put on a show, pull a prank, and about a third of those were legit funny, and the rest were pretty bad.
And then, of course, there's the emotional sob story section.
Yep, which
Right.
was an important part.
Sure.
But as time went on, it got to the point to where every single fucking person who walked up to that microphone had this long and elaborate skit that usually didn't really pan out. So I'm not super sad to see it go, partly because there's YouTube video of all the great moments from the past, and I doubt that anything good enough to be worth sitting through it would have ever happened further if they continued with the old
past
format.
few PAXs, we've been leaving that shit early.
What do we always say? The problem with anime cons is that they're beholden to the hobgoblin of consistency.
Yes.
That we had a rave in 08, so we're going to have raves till the sun burns up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
But Penny Arcade and PAX always were very willing to make huge changes as time went on. So this is actually exactly in the spirit of everything we've said is great about PAX, that they're willing to say that something needs to change and try something radically different.
But not everything they change is for the better.
So PAX Prime, because badges sell out in like 4 nanoseconds, started 2 things. They went to 4 days instead of 3, which if you don't go to a lot of cons, I cannot express to you how big a difference it is between a 3-day con and a 4-day con.
Magfest.
It's as big of a difference between a convention center con and a hotel con.
That you
It
have
is night
2
and day.
days that are full days as opposed to a 3-day con where you have the entry day, the full day, and the get home day. Now you've got the get in day, the full day, the full day. It's like the adding just 1 day, making the con 33% bigger actually makes it like 66% bigger.
Yeah, it is nuts.
Because that's a full day you're adding. So you used to, it's like you think it's a 3-day con. No, a 3-day con is actually like a 2-day con, right? But now, once you add an extra 1 day, that 2-day con is actually now a 3-day con.
So, to make the enforcers be able to survive this, and just, for logistical reasons, they shortened every day, so instead of ending at 2 a.m., it ended at midnight.
Which makes sense. You add a whole extra day. Enforcers can't be working to 2 every one of those days, right? At least the first 3 of them. You got to, take the hours off, the days you had, and put some of those hours into the 4th day, but you're still adding hours in total.
So,
right? And those are late night useless hours anyway. You've just turned them into valuable day hours.
So, the stated rationale was extra day, so we got to end this shit early. That made sense.
Makes sense.
PAX East this year ends at midnight, but is only 3 days.
Fuck you. How am I supposed to game between midnight and 2 a.m.?
This is bad for a much more subtle reason. At PAX Prime, ending at midnight was no big deal because there are like 10 hotels within 4 minutes of walking of the convention center, and there's gaming in all of them. Mm-hmm. Gaming happens at night so easily there because there's so much space and so many things right in the neighborhood, and it's summer, so you can just walk outside. No one cares.
Also, well, it's sort of summer. It's Labor Day weekend.
It's warm.
Right? The end of summer.
You can walk
It's warm
outside.
enough, yeah. Also, PAX Prime has their tabletop in a hotel in the area. Right? It's extra tabletop, basically, right? In a hotel in the area.
Yep.
And you can go there pretty late. Right? And there's tables there. So you can game into the hours, even though PAX is technically closed.
And even when that area technically closes, you can just go into other areas of all these hotels.
that
Like, it
have
doesn't-
tables.
So all these factors combined mean that it's no big deal at all. But PAX East, there's one fucking hotel, and even enforcers can't get into that shit.
Yep.
So as a result, everyone is staying pretty far away from the con. So the hotel hangout culture is already dead at PAX East.
Also, the hotels at PAX East don't really have tables to play games at.
Because they're all far away. They're not really directly...
Even the close one doesn't really have a lot of tables.
Yeah, the close one really not a great hotel.
No, definitely not a good place for tabletop gaming.
So
you basically, all we did was just lose the 4 best hours of tabletop gaming at PAX East, and we didn't get anything in exchange for it.
Yep, because now, basically, I have to, when I eat dinner, like 8 o'clock, I have to leave PAX. Because if I go back to PAX after dinner, I will not have enough time to finish a serious game.
Nope.
Before tabletop closes. So I might as well go somewhere that'll take me through the night, but there's no spaces near the convention for that. So I'm going to have to go back to my hotel, which is like a mile or 2 away, and you're going to see a huge fracturing of the tabletop and gaming experience around PAX. PAX is going to be dead at night.
Also, you have a situation where you got to try to get a hotel room with a table in it, so you can at least play games with the people you're staying with.
Yep, which is going to be tough. And all the Airbnb, everything we look in, there's no hotels or anything anywhere near PAX East.
No,
so,
PAX East is not a place where you can walk around and do stuff after it closes. I mean, like after PAX Prime, you can just walk over to the GameWorks and party it up. There's plenty of places to walk to and party it up. PAX East, nope.
So this is basically a huge punch in the dick for all the things that I like to do at PAX.
Pretty much, yeah. Just lost 4 hours of awesome PAXness.
Yep. Which, I hate to say it, I
think the reason they did it is because basically, while we were having great times in those 4 hours, the population of PAX during those hours was relatively low compared to and they're not losing any money. It's basically, those 4 hours were costing them a lot of money, and they weren't getting a lot for what they were paying, right? So
True.
They're just basically saving a fuck ton of money and enforcer time and everything by cutting out those 4 hours.
But the trouble is, at PAX Prime, like I said, there's all these reasons why it's not a big deal. But at PAX East, it kills the entire evening. I'm going to leave for dinner and never come back. So, I can now officially say, in a way that I couldn't say before, that PAX Prime is in every way objectively better than PAX East now.
Well, yeah.
Like, there's a reason why I enforce at East, because I'm not missing as much.
Yeah, it's like I'm actually I chose first priority for enforcing that night shift.
Yeah.
Because it's short. That shift is now 2 hours shorter. It's like 6:30 to midnight for that enforcer shift, right? So it's really easy to do.
Yep.
5.5 hours or so. It's going to be low population. You only have to do 2 days, not 3 days, because on the Sunday, you basically don't have to enforce.
Yep.
And it's like, why would I not choose that shift? That shift used to be the pony shift that went to 2 a.m., and that's why it sucked.
I'm taking another tack, though. I'm going to be enforcing the entire con.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm trying this out.
So you're not leaving at 8 and not coming back. You're staying there till midnight.
I'll be there till midnight every day.
Yeah, but other people who are just attendees go to dinner, and there's no reason to come back to PAX.
But it's sad, though, because PAX will sell out. Doesn't matter. And
it's
I'll
already
keep going
sold
to PAX.
out. It's been sold out.
I know.
It's been sold out before this news.
Selling out immediately. But
if this news came out a long time ago, it still would have sold out no matter what.
I will
it would
keep
sell
going
out
to
if it
PAX
ended
East.
at 9.
But what's interesting is that everyone I know who does not enforce or is not a guest or an exhibitor no longer goes to PAX East.
Right, well, if you're just a normal attendee who's got to pay for a badge, right? It's a huge pain in the ass to go, right? And unless there's something there that you're really into, it doesn't make up for the pain in the ass factor, right? If you're going for, like us, mostly for the tabletop action, you can get better tabletop action at Kineticon or MagFest. So if that's your number one reason to go, and you don't care about, say, Penny Arcade or the big game companies in the expo hall or any of the panels or any of that other stuff, it's as awesome as PAX is, if that's, even though if you're a gamer, you'll have a great time at PAX, but in terms of the cost of time and money versus what you get in return ratio, with that specific interest set, you will get better value from a different convention than PAX.
Yep. So as a result,
you'll also get over your sour grapes of not being able to get a PAX badge by telling yourself that.
But PAX East is just not, for people like us, it's not as good a con anymore.
Well, PAX East isn't.
Yeah, PAX Prime is still the best.
Yeah, pretty much.
But a part of that really is the area. It's Seattle. It's the weather. It's the fact that there are actually
You know what? If
hotels.
there was a convention center in New York that wasn't the Javits, PAX New York could be the best easily.
Possibly not, though, for the simple fact... Well, it could be because there's enough gamers just in New York
Okay,
who don't need
replace
hotel
Madison
rooms.
Square Garden with a convention center, right? So you don't have to walk all that far west.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You could have a PAX that probably sold out just with people who already live here.
Yeah,
So the hotel issue is no longer a concern.
that's right.
But it means no one outside of New York could go.
Good, that makes it even better. Best PAX ever. New York only. Next.
But it's interesting to see that every year with PAX East, a number of our friends stop going to PAX East. They'll still go to Prime if they travel to that, or they'll go to MagFest and all these other cons. But other than the professionals and the people who had a sort of industry reason to be at PAX, most of our friends stopped going to PAX East, and the trend now has sort of pushed all the rest of them out. I wonder what they'll change next at PAX East.
I also wonder what they'll change next. Perhaps the price.
Huh.
Uh,
But anyway, things of the day. Scott has not seen it, but I saw Frozen, and my opinion, I'll leave out of this. I liked the movie. It had some problems, but it wasn't a bad movie. But there's a song.
it's not Mono's Hands of Fate.
Oh my God. So it has a song, Let It Go, that has kind of been used in a lot of mashups.
I haven't even heard. I haven't heard the song, but I've seen enough links on the internet that say "Let It Go" something Frozen something to know that there's clearly some popularity to this.
It's
thing.
a pretty good song. You'd like the moral. The moral is basically, fuck it and all you fuckers. I'm free. I do what I want.
I do what I want.
Yeah, I do what
Lemon
I
Hope.
want.
I do what I want.
So this dude sings Let It Go, but he sings it as a medley of, I think, 21 different Disney character voices. And it is a wide range of Disney character voices. This shit is amazing.
It's all right.
I mean, Mickey Mouse, Pete, as in Goofy's or Mickey Mouse's nemesis, Roslyn from Monsters, Inc., Scar, that seagull. This is pretty amazing. And it's gotten a few million more views since when I first saw it. So, popularity rising.
Whatever. Okay, so normally in the New York City, there is much musical performance on the streets and in the subways. And the vast majority of it is garbage. It's some homeless guy who's got himself a sousaphone and he's going, doot, toodly doot.
There's this guy.
Toot, toot, toot.
There's this guy. Oh my God, Emily and I. So we there's that that
Toot, toot,
long
toot,
hallway
toot,
between the
toot.
7 and the 4-5
Toot.
in Grand Central. There's like that long angled tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always people there selling churros. The same lady.
Yep, I know the churro lady.
So there's always either the girl playing fiddle music, and she plays nerdy stuff sometimes, like Legend of Zelda, or there's a guy with a full-size harp who's super good at it.
Oh, I haven't seen Harp Guy. I love harps.
Harp guy is the best guy.
Can he play the song from Mickey and the Beanstalk?
I'll bet he could. No, this guy is legit. But about a third of the time lately, it's been a dude with a Casio keyboard
All right.
and a huge amplifier. This shit is loud.
No, you got it.
And he's got the standard built-in beats going on in the background, like that doom, 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 doom. And he's very slowly and very poorly playing the melody to Fur Elise, over and over and over again, and that's it.
Yep, that's pretty typical. So if you're just a tourist and you're walking by quickly, right? It's like you can maybe think, oh, this guy's playing a song. It sounds kind of good. Makes it pleasant. I'll give him some monies. But there are many, though they are not the majority, subway and street musicians who are the awesomeness. And they play the awesome music. So usually if you go to like the G Train Metropolitan Ave station, there's some hipsters, and they do a thing where like the percussion's on one platform, like the uptown platform, and the fiddles on the downtown platform. Oh, I guess north and south. There's no uptown, downtown on the G train, right? And they sort of play together, and it's pretty awesome. And then everyone they even get applause. Those fuckers, they're so good, right? But regardless, I think the best subway music in New York City that I have seen are these guys who can be seen in Union Square. I actually saw them on Vimeo before I saw them. I actually haven't seen them in person. I've only seen them on Vimeo. But the name of their band is Too Many Zoos. And if you listen to the music, you will see that that name is apt. The music is much zoos. And you can go see their 5-song album on Bandcamp, which I actually paid for. The 5th song is an excellent, excellent cover of the highest quality of a song Rim had never heard before.
What can I say? I listen to mostly like Rachmaninoff and like weird ska.
Yeah, okay. That song's something you should know from your childhood. Anyway. Check
Scott,
these-
my childhood I spent listening mostly to jazz and classical music.
This is a type of jazz. I guess. I'm not even sure what you would call this, but it's awesome. I don't know a human being who would not like this music in some way, so you should definitely give your X minutes of time to checking them out.
All right. In the Metamoment book club book is Wool.
I started reading Wool, and you know what? I got to tell you this. I'm not going to spill all the beans and give up a whole book club episode's worth.
All
But
right.
if you're maybe sitting out there thinking, should I read Wool? Is this something that I should give my time to just because Rim and Scott said so? Well, let me tell you this. I read page 1, and there were 3 things that immediately lit up on the scoreboard. Thing number 1 was Logan's Run. Thing number 2 was Fallout. And thing number 3 was... What's the other thing in that category?
The Road?
No, I don't know what that is.
Really? Paranoia?
Paranoia, the RPG. Oh, also... there's another one.
You really have never heard of The Road?
No.
Okay.
Phoenix,
Mad Max?
the second volume of Phoenix, Future.
Oh, okay.
All 4 of those lights turned on, right? And Wool is, and I kept reading, and all those lights are still on. So if any of those things is your jam, Fallout the video game, Paranoia the RPG, Phoenix Volume 2, the Tezuka manga, Future, and Logan's Run, if any one of those things is your jam and you want more of those things, Wool is one of those things.
All right.
So I'm
You're
not
going
gonna tell you if it's good or bad, just that it's still one of those things. I'm almost done with it, and it's still one of those things. So
Meanwhile, I continue in my private life to constantly make fun of the King Killer Chronicle. So you should check out. We have done a whole bunch of book club books. So if you want to read a book, you don't really have to follow the book club chronologically. Just look at the list of books, read one of them, and then listen to our show about that book.
and then go to the forum and find the thread for that and post in it.
Which I don't think you've actually set it up to where the forum threads are linked directly in all the book club episodes on
they
the site.
should be. I'll check on it.
Oh,
Anyway,
they are now. They weren't there when I checked a long time. Oh, not all of them, though.
We can
Might go
fix
update that.
Anyway.
Oh, right. The man who was Thursday.
Also, you should follow us on all the places on the internet: Twitter, Facebook, Google+, YouTube.
In fact, I did a recent YouTube
Twitch.
upload.
We have an IRC channel.
I'm thinking
People
about
are
hanging
in
out
it.
in there
People
more.
are actually in that IRC channel. They're still in there, even though we stopped using it. I mean, for a time we were using it only for Salty Bet tournaments, and now the Salty Bet has fallen by the wayside. People are still in there, so
Might get back in there.
get in that IRC when you're at work.
We are going to be this weekend at Anime Boston 2014.
Oh my god!
We are doing on Friday Fundamental Anime
It's anime you should see, only with a different title.
and a different list of similar but slightly crooked list.
Oh my god!
We are doing the Secret Guide to Running Panels on Saturday, also
We've
known
done
as
that before.
How to Run a Panel.
Also known as the panel.
Yep.
And the meta panel.
We are doing on Saturday. Not all anime are what they seem.
Oh, it's just something we came up with to fill a slot.
It's a panel about anime that look like one thing but are actually something else.
A lot of anime.
Yes. But then
Much like our panels, which look like one thing, but are actually something else.
we're doing Saturday evening, 7:30, judge anime by its cover.
Which
after
we did last year, and it was a hit. So
It was
we're
a
doing it again.
smash hit.
So we'll just do that shit again.
Well, because
Milk it.
Judge anime by
Milk
its
that
cover.
cow.
You non-anime fans, here's what we do. We look at the list of anime that are coming in the next season that are not out yet.
I guess we're always going to be doing this for summer seasons because Anime Boston's
Actually,
always
we're
in the
doing
spring.
the like spring mid-season stuff.
Okay.
There's a spring list. This is all stuff coming out in like April.
Oh, I guess because Anime Boston's a little earlier this year. It's
Yeah,
March?
I could pull a few from the summer list because that's further out.
Maybe, I don't know.
But we're reviewing all of them. We're reviewing like 40 anime before they come out. based solely on their covers.
So
because-
based on prejudice.
Yes. And it turns out that prejudice is 99% accurate when it comes to judging media.
If you are a good judge and you have been there before.
We're going to be at ZenkaiCon. But more on that later. We're going to be at PAX. Our main panel is not bad games. Our panel is why no one will game with you.
Oh, it's going to be good.
We're going to tell you specifically why no one will game with you.
Oh, shit.
It's gonna be a really good panel.
It's going to be LFG forever.
Some people might be really sad about this panel.
That's tough.
Yeah, but you'll see.
Cold, hard reality of the world.
It's a rough.
Accept it.
It's a hard knock life.
Can't change it.
Oh, and as a side note, I didn't want to make this a thing of the day. Oh yeah, Kineticon. We're scheduling. If you haven't submitted your panel, get on that shit real quick.
Also, we'll be there. You should come see us.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be ramping up a lot of Kineticon stuff in the very near future.
And then PAX, and then MagFest.
And I did get in on the Daily Show McConnelling thing, so I uploaded my take.
I'm uploading Netrunner videos.
No, you're not going to do a McConnelling?
I don't know what that is.
So here's the deal. Mitch McConnell,
Who is that?
Republican.
All right.
He's a Republican who's one of the bad ones.
He said something stupid.
No, he released a campaign ad that was kind of amazing. It's 2.5 minutes with no words
That's long.
of just video of like him doing stuff,
What's he doing?
like signing
kissing
papers,
babies and...
like signing papers, taking notes. It's like if you told someone, hey, do.
So it's pretty much all just B-roll, 100% B-roll.
Yeah, it's basically, hey, pretend that you're working, and we're going to film it, and then we're going to make a montage of you pretending to work.
All right.
So that was the ad, and what
Who
the
would
internet,
watch that for 2.5 minutes?
So what the internet's doing after the Daily Show prompted them to is setting it to random songs and seeing what matches.
Okay.
And I matched
Oh, it
up.
was silent?
Well,
There wasn't even talking?
it has this no talking, just one.
There wasn't even no good background music?
There is one derpy song in the background that sounds like a Casio keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do,
everyone's just replacing it with like "Baby Got Back," and it's actually pretty funny. So it's an internet thing that it's one of those fake.
You
memes.
should replace it with Too Many Zoos.
Oh, I should. I replaced it with like 100 things, but House of Cards fit best.
The opening song?
Yep. Basically,
How about some Cowboy Bebop?
this is
music?
a fake meme. In
How
that
about Evangelion opening music?
the Daily Show told people to do this.
How about Tumbling Down? Evangelion music.
That's a good one. I was looking at some. I'm above, baby. I can dance like a man. That one actually fit pretty well.
It's a good one. You got to find something that's 2.5 minutes.
No, I just cut mine off after a minute 30
okay.
because it doesn't matter. The joke is that's it. That's the joke. You watch the first few minutes. It's kind of like when you watch an old like Winamp visualization of a song, and you're like, man, it fits the song so well. No, it doesn't. Just random.
All right.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna do a gaming news roundup.
Gaming news roundup.
So there's a lot of little gaming newses. Like we actually decided to do a gaming news roundup because our main show idea was Crab People. And while I was looking for gaming news, I said, hey, there's like a lot of little gaming news. I'm gonna do like 3 of these. And I said, wait a minute, this show will be much easier to do if we do a gaming news roundup. So let's do it. Gaming news number 1, really easy. They're remaking Gauntlet for the PC.
Great.
I know you love Gauntlet.
Gauntlet is really fun. I look forward to playing more Gauntlet.
I look forward to kids knowing what we mean when we say Green Wizard needs food badly.
That's one positive. So when I was a kid, right, my first experiences with Gauntlet was on the NES. So that shit was tight because it was partly because I was a dumb kid.
You didn't have to keep paying quarters?
And I didn't really get games. Like, when you're a kid and you just play video games, like, video game, just play my video game. Like, you're not trying to win, you're just playing your video game. So I would play Gauntlet 2, which had that weird, like all the random, like, it would go on forever. And it was glitchy as all fuck. And I was just fascinated by, like, exploring increasingly weird glitches as these randomized maps went on and on. And then one day when I learned that it was an arcade game and I went to an arcade and I played it in the arcade, yeah, I was done with that forever.
All right, so basically the deal is the somewhat interesting information, right? So there's WBIE is the company, right? Which I think is like Warner Brothers something interactive entertainment, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And they basically, when Midway went out of business, they bought up Marble Madness, Defender, Robotron, Spy Hunter, Sinistar, Joust, and Gauntlet.
Meaning every game that is egregiously unrealized and has potential for a remake.
I wonder who picked up Rampart.
Oh.
Let's go find out. Anyway.
Why don't we pick up Rampart?
Find out who's got it, and we got to get it from them.
Yeah.
So
or why don't
the
we just
people,
make Vampart?
The people, the development studio, that's the publisher, right?
Yep.
The development studio is Arrowhead Games, makers of Magicka. And which makes sense for them to make Gauntlet, right? Because their game is already pretty gauntlet-y. And they're gonna make it for PC, Steam OS, etc. Right? So this could be interesting. Actually, it could be a good Gauntlet.
The thing is, what do you mean by a good Gauntlet? Because Gauntlet games,
one where you don't have to pump in quarters and lose life constantly, no matter what. Or maybe one where you have to put in double quarters and lose life twice as fast.
It's just fundamentally Gauntlet is like a ghetto version of Diablo.
I know you don't like the gauntlets, but remember I bought that gauntlet for the GameCube?
I remember, and you'd play it every day, and I couldn't imagine why.
You didn't want to play it.
Because it was stupid.
Listen, in high
Let's see.
school...
Walk, 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 walk. How do we get past this gate? Oh, there's a switch we can see. Walk over to the switch.
In
now
Gauntlet,
the gate's open.
I mean, in high school, we played Gauntlet for the N64, and listeners will come and tell you how good it was to play 4-player Gauntlet on the N64. I think it was Gauntlet Legacy or whatever.
That was only fun because of the combination of trolling and just the way co-op games went.
That shit was good, and I thought that the GameCube one would recreate that scenario, but it did not.
Oh, it's a shame.
Anyway, other news, Blizzard, right? They make popular games. Diablo 3, we've talked about this when they announced it, but finally, the auction house is over. Anything that's still in the auction house is sort of still in there, but you can't auction off any new shit now. And I guess around June-ish, the auction house will be completely gone.
Thank the gods.
So if you're the kind of person like me who will play Diablo when it's cheap, just because you've got like 3 hours and you want to click on something, now's the time. If you've already, that's assuming you've already beaten, what's the game?
Torchlight?
Yeah. If you've already beaten Torchlight 1 and 2 and Diablo 1 and 2, and you need to click on even more, now is a good time to go click on Diablo 3. Plus, I think there's a Diablo 3 expansion, even more to click on.
Thing is, I'm more and more...
Satan might have extra heads to click on or something.
For whatever reason, like those kinds of mindless games, like I probably would have played them more recently.
I'd play them more if Diablo wasn't $50 goddamn. Lower the price, Jesus, $10 on Steam or some shit.
Also, if Civ 5 hadn't gotten
this shit's old already. Torchlight's $20 or less.
Yeah, but
I don't want to pay no $50 for some World of Warcraft Diablo.
I'll click about the same number of times in the course of a game of Civ 5, and it'll be a little more fulfilling.
Maybe. Other Blizzard news, Hearthstone, which I played.
Yep, I've also played.
In beta, is now gonna, it's out now. It's not like a beta anymore. You can just play it, and it's free to play, so you can just play it if you want. But they're bringing it to iPad, which actually, it's like, I played, Hearthstone on the PC, and I was like, all right, this is, right? It's just obvious what to do in your turn. And
oh, you mean like Neuroshima Hex, a game that I play all the time because I play it when I'm pooping.
It's not as good as Neuroshima Hex, but because it's, online against a real person, it actually might sort of get played as much as Neuroshima Hex because it's on iPad, right? Like, it's something I can just, I'm laying in bed, turn on the iPad, Hearthstone someone, and then turn the iPad off. Whereas if it's on PC and I got to sit at my desk, no way I'm dedicating that time to Hearthstone.
Yep. I mean, granted, he's talking about Civ 5. I even play Civ 5 on my laptop, not on my desk. I'm sitting at my desk, I'm doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
Can't play that on HTPC.
No. There's an article on Polygon. They talked to John Romero, and there's a modern picture of John Romero.
To win the game.
And I just want to point this out because he talks about like how fast Doom was and how awesome it was that Doom was fast and every game after Doom was slow.
John Romero, you're like my spirit animal. you know what's up.
Quote, Doom's speed and movement is super fast. It only slowed down over the years in other games. Even Quake is slower than Doom.
Yep.
Each Quake has gotten progressively slower.
Yep.
A lot of games just copy how fast people really walk and run. When they play Doom, they'll see how crazy fast it is. If you don't know the levels and you haven't played a really high-speed deathmatch, well, you'll learn.
There was a mod for Quake 2. I think it was called Gen or Generations. And what it was a deathmatch mod.
Wolfenstein guy versus Doom guy versus Quake guy.
Quake 1 guy, Quake 2 guy.
Yep.
So
Doom guy was best guy.
But they had a switch for land mode because the way they coded it, Doom guy was so fast that if you weren't playing on a LAN, shit didn't work. So you had to slow him down to play over the internet.
He also talks about how like his kids play Quake and they also play modern games and whatever. So interesting to see what John Romero's up to. Here's some news. Unity, right? The game development platform thingy that a lot of people use. It's having a big ol' update, Unity 5, right?
Yep.
And there's a ton of stuff in this update that you might care about if you're a developer. But there's only one really interesting thing in this update for someone who's a game player. And that is, up until now, Unity lets you target any platform pretty much when you make a game. You could be like, build iPhone game, build Xbox game, build PC game, right?
Yep.
But when you wanted to build a web game, you could build a web game that would work in a browser, but you needed a Unity player plugin thing. Now they've added it with, I think in cooperation with Mozilla possibly even, Unity 5, you can build a WebGL game that will just work in Firefox with no plugin whatsoever.
It's kind of a big deal.
That's pretty huge.
Because Unity is...
That means it could work in a mobile browser, assuming you have enough video card in your phone.
And Unity is, if you're
or
making
GPU in your
kinds of
phone. You have a
games,
video card in your phone, you have a GPU in your phone.
It's like a lot of you want to make video games, and I can't stress to you enough how bad an idea that might be as a career choice. But if you're insistent upon it, Unity's a really good platform to learn and to use to make these things. There's no point in reinventing the wheel for the kinds of games that most people are making. Development frameworks exist for a reason. Mm-hmm. And Unity as an environment is, I think, pretty full-featured. I actually really like it. Mm-hmm. Granted, all I've made is a bunch of pseudo games where cubes jump up and down on top of other cubes and shoot cubes at each other.
Yeah, I mean, well, Unity's pretty impressive, right? When it first appeared on the market, all it did was let you make games for its browser plugin, and I was like, that's going to fail. Nobody's going to install your ridiculous plugin to play your game, right? This is not going to be it. But then what they managed to do is, on the back-end side, they turned the development tool into something that can make games for all sorts of targets and not just this plugin, right? And the plugin sort of became like not the main story anymore, and then that's how it succeeded. So I guess now they're getting rid of the plugin entirely. I mean, I see this is like one of the top gaming engines now. I mean, you see more Unity these days than you see like Unreal Engine, right? It used to be that's all you saw. Okay, so...
Yeah.
This story is sort of serious, right? But it shows, I guess what's in our future in terms of competitive gaming, right? So there was a top League of Legends team in Korea, right? For real, serious professional players, right? And the manager of the team, so, I mean, this is on the level of like NFL team level, right? Maybe smaller than that because, but whatever, in terms of money, but still big professional sports, right? The manager of the team had a plan where the team would get really good, get a really good reputation, then he would make huge bets against the team and they would throw the match, so they would get a lot of money.
Black Sox, anyone?
Right. So he had this plan, but regardless of whether his plan was successful or not, because of it, some of the players were extremely upset and like attempted suicide and shit, right? So this is like mad fucked up.
Well, you know what? When anything that becomes professional enough to have professional money being injected to where someone can make their living doing that thing, it brings with it all of the problems of the real world. Suddenly, it's not just a game anymore. And that's actually why I think gaming tournament culture, especially fighting games and MOBAs and things, have such toxic cultures because they're not professional enough to where, I mean, even the worst baseball player who makes it into the real team makes good money. Mm-hmm. Like, he's got a good life going on. But if you're in the professional video gaming circuit and you're not doing super well, you can't make rent.
Yeah, they didn't have a sponsor. Like, I think this manager took out a loan to pay for them, right? So his plan was to like pay for, the whole team, right? Basically get, the equivalent of the sponsorship money with the illegal bets and whatnot.
But like, the American football player doesn't need to win the Super Bowl to be able to afford rent for the next 3 months. He's set either way.
But there's still, because it's serious business, right? And in the NFL, right? Okay, yeah. Even if you're the lowest level NFL player, right? It's like you've only got a few years to play and you've got to make all your money in those years. And if you're just a nobody, you're not going to make that much money. I mean, you're going to make good money, but not millions upon millions. But if you can somehow take some drugs and cheat and hide injuries and harm yourself, you can get millions upon millions. So that shit still happens. This drama enters the scene.
But at least there's more of a veneer, more of an ability to be able to compete primarily because you want to do well at the game and not directly to pay rent.
Yeah,
there's one more layer there.
Yep. This is why I think, one of the reason, like, if Netrunner became as big as Magic to where there was, like, money tournaments and it was huge, I don't know if I would do that because all that shit would start to enter the scene. Also, because, Netrunner is not collectible, everyone who is into Netrunner is in it because playing and winning, right? Or playing and enjoying the cyberpunk part, but that's less people, right? There are people who are into Magic just for the collecting and the trading and the, speculating on card values. And they're not in it even for the game at all, not even winning or losing it, not even playing it, right? So because we don't have those people in the community, things like this don't happen. And, you need to have, if you're going to have a professional, situation, a competitive thing built up around a game, you need to have all those structures in place, that the professional sports leagues have, like unions and whatnot, and
well, when you have the money of a professional thing without the professional structure of that thing, there's a reason there's laws about betting on sports in the United States. There's reasons we have all these regulations and rules and unions and everything in professional sports because it's not like other professions. A profession that is also competition and entertainment needs a lot of protections or else things can get really toxic really quickly.
Yep. So this is like, the first, this might seem like a sort of crazy, outrageous story, but this is just like the first, right?
I don't
think this is even the first, but it's one of the first, right? You're going to see a lot more like this unless things, change.
Kids, you're the big time now.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, Walmart is going to let you trade in your used games.
GameStop stock appears. Let me just say, I was at a meeting today and I saw a blurb pass by that basically said GameStop just like ruined. I'm going to look up GameStop right now. But yeah, that GameStop literally now is nothing more than a low rent pawn shop for kids who don't have credit cards or can't buy stuff digitally yet and don't have a Walmart near them.
So people in the city.
Yeah, pretty much. Though there's a Walmart near New York City.
Really? Yeah, where, like New Jersey, Connecticut?
I think there's one like near
upstate.
Oh yeah, look at that stock drop. Woo! And that was on the news that Walmart is doing this. So the people who invest in GameStop, at least enough of them to cause almost a 4% drop, realize that GameStop is just a pawn stop.
No, you don't say.
I mean, remember FuncoLand? AKA the free arcade until
I just think it's weird. I mean, of course it hurts GameStop that Walmart is doing this, right? But Walmart wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't lucrative. It's like, is the physical disc game trade still so lucrative?
Yes.
And there's not digital game downloading still hasn't just completely taken over?
Yes, and here's why. One, I'm selling my Xbox 360 to one of my coworkers because they don't have a modern console.
I'm getting rid of mine too.
Yeah. I was like, I'll just give it to you. He insisted on paying for it.
All right.
So yeah, most parents and kids who aren't super into gaming but like video games just don't give a shit. So they're 2 full generations behind whatever gamers
Right, but you're
have.
not buying and selling games back to the store unless you're into games to the point at which you're like, buy a new game, sell it back so you can afford the brand new goddamn game, sell it back so you can afford another brand new goddamn game, and you're a poor high school kid who doesn't have a lot of money.
So you have a whole market of people who right now are just upgrading to the Xbox 360. So then they go to GameStop and they buy all the old used games that the gamer guys sold back for pennies on the dollar.
Because
they don't care. They'll go in and be like, yeah, I'll buy, these 5 games because they're all $5, whatever. And the kids who are in these families, they'll use their allowance to buy things. They don't have credit cards.
Nope.
They can't buy stuff online easily unless they have cool parents. So
if they do want to buy stuff online, you know what they have to do? They have to go to GameStop, buy a card, go home, type the code on the card into the Xbone, and then buy something.
Yup.
If you're going to the store,
the stock was actually as low as this a few days ago, and then was on this huge increase, and then collapsed on the news today.
Someone called the SEC.
Yeah.
Insider trading.
Well, no, if that's insider trading, then someone fucked up. That's it shouldn't have been going up if people knew.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, games, it just never forget, it's not just gaming, it's everything. We're very privileged in the sense that being nerdy type people, I mean, you're listening to a podcast, you're already in like the upper 0.1% of people who understand technology at all. So the kinds of people like us have been doing digital distribution for what, 5+ years?
5? How about like 20?
Well, it depends on what, I mean, not everything was available digitally. Like, you couldn't get handheld games digitally until recently. Smartphones, there weren't really...
There were GBA emulators in like, not GBA.
Okay.
There were Game Boy emulators in the late 90s.
Okay, so if you want to count emulators, then yeah, since I had a 486 that could technically...
I had Nesticle in like 98, 99.
Oh my god, my Pentium Pro 200 did Nesticle so well. I was so excited about that.
450. Oh, so good.
Yeah. No, yeah, if you're talking about piracy, then yeah, we've been digital since forever. I was pirating movies since the day real media existed.
Okay, the day you could the Steam came out. My Steam account was the first day Steam existed. I think that was 02?
But I didn't buy anything through
03?
Steam until they had that id
I
Software
bought Half-Life
pack.
2 on Steam.
Yep, and they had the id Software pack.
That was the
we
first
all bought.
non-Valve thing I bought on Steam. Was
Yeah.
the id Software pack.
Yeah, the id Software pack. But digital distribution, while it's like the default obvious thing for us, just like YouTube and streaming and Netflix, for the average person, they don't go on the internet every day, except at work. Like at work, they go on the internet.
And at work, their internet is filtered if they even have it.
And at home, they don't go on the internet. They don't even, a lot of them don't have PCs. Digital doesn't exist. If they have a console, it's 2 generations old. So that is the only thing holding these old sort of physical media companies up, is the fact that most people are way behind the curve. And that's just in the industrialized world.
All right, so final news I have here. Remember when SimCity came out and everyone was like, I ain't doing this shit with your forced online. Oh, look, it doesn't even work because your servers can't handle this.
Yep.
Duh. And they said, SimCity can't even be offline. It's not possible. Then someone hacked it to make it offline.
Yep,
right?
well, because
said,
there's an
look
episode-
how impossible it is.
We talked about this at length about why they told that lie. But
Well, as of today, SimCity is officially available with offline mode. It's not like some hack or mod. It's like, nope, it just has offline mode now.
too little, too late.
Well, obviously it's too little too late, but it's just hilarious. Like, this is Daily Show material. Like, SimCity can never work offline. Today, SimCity releases offline mode. This game is just designed. It can't possibly be anything but
it's
online
amazing
all the time.
Their attempt at monetization here, that the only reason to make a single player game be like this is either for really restrictive DRM or because they want to be able to sell content later to people locally, and they don't want them to be able to cheat and get that content on their own, or because they need that social pressure of Farmville style, like, hey, Rim's got the fancy building, your city's connected to his city, and you don't have the fancy building. It's $5. It reduces pollution. I don't know. SimCity 2000 was the one I played the most.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like sim games. It might just be...
SimCity 2000 is all you need. I don't need anything more than that.
SimCity 3000 was pretty fun. SimCity 4 was actually pretty fun, too.
I never played any of those.
I own them all. I played them all. It just...
I had a SimCity on my iPhone. I think I still have it technically, right? I can just go get it. And it came out like when the iPhone 3G first came out. And meh.
These games just require a lot of time and investment that I'm no longer really willing to put into games.
Pretty much, yeah.
Even though lately I'll put it back into Civ 5, so we'll see. But yeah, the DRM thing was a shame, and I think that's the only reason I didn't get in on it early, and now I've mostly lost interest.
I mean, I'm not going to buy an EA game no matter what, right? So
yeah, I don't want to reward them at all for their egregious behavior on the front of this particular specific game.
I'm pretty much not going to buy anything that says EA on it. Ever. Again, maybe.
All right, I think we're done.
Okay, then
Got
we're
any other
done.
news? Just peter out here.
Peter.
Clicky, clicky. Clicky, click. This This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.